So you've cleaned out your closet and you want to sell some clothes to a resale shop or a consignment store. Well, I have some tips for you. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to my channel. Age is just a number and my name is Barbara. Thank you for stopping by to spend a few minutes with me today. This is a channel for women over 40, over 60, over 70, and beyond who have a love of fashion and beauty. But today we're going to be talking about how to take your clothes to a resale store or a consignment store. And I have lots of tips to share with you about that. So if this is a video that you think you might enjoy, please consider hitting that little subscribe button down there if you haven't already. And hit the little bell, and the little bell will give you an alert the next time I make a video. So also I am working toward getting to my milestone of 300 subscribers, which today, I believe at this moment, which is Wednesday, I am at 246, and I'm working on putting together a gift box for one lucky winner in a giveaway. And if you've watched my last couple of videos, you know I've already added some things in here, and we will at the end of this video as well. So with that said, let's get started on this video. So I have made some notes. So that's why I'm looking down, if you wonder what I'm doing here. So the first tip that I'm going to share with you is to call the store and ask what they are currently accepting. What are they wanting to sell in their store right now? It kind of depends, you know, are they seasonal or do they have room for storage to put off seasonal things if they do buy them? So that would be the first tip. The second tip is to, do you need an appointment? Ask them if, because some do, some don't. The next tip is, what are the times that they take? You know, they're open from, you know, a certain time in the morning to a certain time in the evening usually. So some days they may take buys, some they may take buys all day, but it may be according to certain times that they have in their schedule. And number one, this is a big one too. Ask them how they want the items brought in, whether it be folded down neatly into bins and baskets, or do they want them on hangers? Everyone is different, so you need to ask them that so that they can be prepared for those items. Also ask them if there's a limit of how many containers that you can bring in. And when we're talking about containers, also I think it is a good tip to make those containers of a reasonable weight. That means that you're not breaking your back carrying those containers into the store, nor are the people that are working there, you know, causing damage to themselves if they're picking up too big, heavy containers. So think about that whenever you are packing your items to take to the resale or consignment store. Also, ask them if there's some criteria. Is it just current styles, or do they take a specific date range? Do they want 1 to 2 years back, or do they take more vintage items? One of the things right here I'm going to hit home on, and then I will hit home on it again later in the video. But this is extremely important when you are going to a resale or consignment store. But to remember who the customer is in this transaction. So that means that you're selling to them, they are the customer. So you need to keep that in mind when you do take your items to one of these stores. So now we're going to get into some of the things that they look for when they go through your items. So they go through the items one at a time, and they'll put a accept or a possibility, or they will make a pass, or they're not going to take it, so they'll call them the passes. So they will typically pass on anything with stains that they'll see. They'll look through everywhere, all over the item. And that includes inside clothing that has legs, they will look at the crotch. Yes. Also, they will look at the armpits, even inside or even on sleeveless, to see if there's deodorant stains. Most of these stores do not do any laundering or mending. They have to be ready to go out on the floor. They also need to be from a smoke-free environment, because if they take items in that have a smell, it's going to get on the other items as well, and that does not do good for their inventory, and they will reject it. Typically, they'll just tie it up right there and say, we're not taking it, this has an odor. So keep that in mind. One of the other things they look for when they're looking at the items are any snags in the fabric. Sheer fabrics tend to have, they snag a lot, and so they look for that. Another thing is any items that have an elastic in the casing, they will feel to see if that elastic is stretched out or if that elastic has been twisted and is uneven through there. They will look at all the buttons to make sure that they are intact, they're not loose or they're not missing. Clothing with belt loops, they'll make sure that all the belt loops are intact, the stitching on is intact. Any clothing that has hems, they will turn up and look at the hem to make sure that the hem is not coming unsewn or raveled out. Same with the seams. Also, with any items that have lining inside, they will open it up and they will look at all the lining to make sure that it hasn't been ripped or is torn, that it's good and it's intact and it's stain free. They will look at the collar inside to see if it has that ring around the collar. Remember that from that commercial? Okay, so peeling is when the fabric has been rubbed too much and it makes the fabric peels. And those are notorious for being under armpits, especially on sweaters and any fabric that has a little bit of nap to it, even t-shirts. But it's also can be found prevalent in the crotch area. So look to see that there's no pilling on the outside crotch area. We'll also see it sometimes in the waist, inside the waistband. So, but you'll find all those little pills from that as well too. If it's a sweater, and it's a nice sweater and it has pills on it, go ahead and use your shaver and you know, try and take those off. Be careful not to tear it, but to, you know, just to get some of that off, and they're more able, or they're more likely to accept that. So if items are brought in and you're bringing them in and it looks like you're bringing in garbage, well, they don't want your garbage. They want clean items that they can put out on the floor and sell. So make sure that you have treated your items with care, because those are the items that more than likely you're going to actually make some money on. So keep that in mind when you're gathering your items. Don't treat them like trash, because they do not want your trash. Also, if the items are wadded up and they're wrinkled, they're not going to take the time to stretch them out and to see if there's stains or whatever under those wrinkles. They're going to pass on it. If you turn them inside out, if you haven't even taken the time to turn them right side out so that they can see the garment and everything, they're going to pass on it. So try and fold them neatly down, or hangers, depending on which the store that you're going to, what they want. So let's see, shoes and boots. All right. Anytime they're leather or faux leather, and with that little bit of wear, they will peel. Sometimes on the outside, sometimes on the inside. But that's usually just from friction. So look inside to see if there are peeling, and they will not accept them if they're in that shape. Also, like for sandals, to where you can see exactly where your toes were, it depends how much toe print in there as to how much they will accept. Because if it's pretty bad, clean them out. Try and get those stains out of there, the footprint out of there. If they're too much, if they're too prominent, they probably won't accept them. If the interior sole is loose, or if the glue is seeping out, they're not going to accept those. The dreaded driver heel, which is typically the right shoe or boot, if that is worn down or the heel is, the material has been scratched off, or the covering has been scratched off because of how, when you drive and your foot is at an angle, they look at that as well too. So make sure that those are in good repair. Okay, so another thing is the stores, they will either be cash on the spot, or they may give you store credit. So you need to ask ahead of time what their payment policy is on the items that they do accept. Consignments will typically have a different process, and they will probably have you sign a contract as to the prices that they're going to place the item at, and how often they are going to reduce those prices, and how much you get at certain dates of how long they've had the item into inventory. So once again, I want to remind you that the customer in this transaction is them, not you. So try and have your items laundried and neatly in the containers or hangers that they like for their customers, or the items to be brought in. So with that said, all right, so that concludes this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend a little bit with me. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please click that little subscribe button. It really helps. Leave me a comment below if this has helped you, or, are you doing this? Have you sold your clothes to a resale shop? I do know that they also factor in, if it's a higher priced item, maybe what they call a designer item, they will go onto some of the online places like eBay or Poshmark or the RealReal and get comps to see, and then they will also factor in the prices or the fees that those places charge to come up with a comp for that. So if you have any questions, leave them down below for me. That would be wonderful. I'll get back to you as soon as I get them. And so what we're going to do here is, like I said, I'm trying to get to my 300 subscriber milestone. So I have something to add to the box today. So today I went, and I'm really liking the Believe products. I'm still wearing the foundation. And so I went back and I bought a lip gloss. And this one is, it's called the Luxurious Shine Lip Gloss, and it's called Juneberry. So it's almost, the color of it reminds me of, and I'm sure everyone has seen it, that iconic blush by NARS called Orgasm. So, but this is what the color of it looks like. And so I have just a dark nude lipstick on right now, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this on top. It's quite nice. So this one is mine, but I have bought another new one. It's still got the seal on it. All the items in the box will be new. So this is going to go into the box. So one more item. So when we get to 300, I will do a giveaway to a lucky person who is actually subscribed to my channel. So if you have anybody that you know that might enjoy this channel, please share it with them. I would appreciate it. So ladies, what I say every time, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, every day, get up and show up, because you are so worth it. Have a wonderful day and be blessed, ladies.